Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bouk and Zoobie show on the world famous LIR.com, 92.7 LIR.com, and YouTube. I am John Kalaboukas, the Bouk, with my friend Paul Zubulake. Zuby. So that draft was actually pretty fun to watch. Normally I'm not that interested, but the fact that the Jets and also the Giants, I was very curious to see who they selected. Um, there's a lot of movement going on here that we didn't really expect.
Yeah, I think so. So we're back, right? That's the first thing.
We're
So,
back, yeah.
quickly back after our last show with Alex. Thanks again, Alex, for joining the show. We'll get to his picks in a minute and see how he did. Yeah, you're right. We didn't really go down the road of trade possibilities and what it would play out. I made the comment like, don't trade up. I didn't want to
Yeah,
trade up.
yeah.
I wanted to trade down. But overall, obviously, it was a pretty good day. John, the bottom line is there was some good stuff and there was some not so good stuff. And this we're talking about the Jets here.
Yeah.
The national media, I mean, they're falling all over the Jets right now.
Yes, they are.
And I mean, John, the national media honestly doesn't know much about the Jets. They're not watching the Jets when they're 2-14 like we are. They're not paying attention to every little move like we are for the last how many decades.
Yeah.
So I saw, and I'll just mention him because Pat McAfee, I saw today, made a comment about how well the Jets did, and how there is no leaks in the building, and you can't get a more clueless view on what's happening at Florham Park,
That's
right?
ridiculous.
There's no they leak everything leaked. They're like,
Everything.
not only were they not airtight, they were a flood, and everybody knew their pick, their number one pick weeks ago, and we were left scratching and watching the dumb betting odds, which is another story about how these markets work now and who's involved and how it moves around. It's like crazy what's going on.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, right, John? I mean, gambling on something that the outcome is known by certain individuals, I mean, that's a fool's game.
No. Hey, listen, it happened in the Trump administration where they went after the soldier who actually bet because he knew what was going to go on when the war was going to start. So,
Yeah, right. Well, yeah,
so
that, my God, you're going down a rabbit hole if we go down with the big time markets, which
yeah.
dwarf the money bet on draft picks and things like that. So, and that's where we're going to start out, right? We'll start with the Jets. I'm going to go over every pick, what I liked, what I didn't like, because as always, right, John, on the Bouk and Zoobie show, you come to this show to get the sober analysis of your teams, right?
Yeah.
Not like some cheerleading attitude and following the group, like, oh, they did such a great job. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, they did a great job. They did a great job. I'll give them an A minus, a B plus. And it's
Oh,
just like,
the Atlantic gave them
what? And okay,
A plus.
A plus. So again, they don't know
I
anything.
haven't seen less than an actually I have not seen less than an A for the
I've seen some
Jets.
B pluses and A
Oh, you
minuses,
did?
but
Well,
yeah,
still even
no,
that high. See, when
yeah.
when you were asking, it's funny, folks who are listening and watching the show. So this was the quickest I have ever seen Paul Zubulake text me and say, "We need a show." And I was saying to my wife, I think Paul is very, very upset about a particular pick because he immediately texted me, and it was like no doubt. Show Monday.
Well, yeah, so I'll get to it right now. And we talked about it, and our timing was weird when we did the show with Alex because we did it like last Monday, and it's Monday again.
Yeah.
And at that point, the wave was coming into the Reese side, which I had mentioned that it was kind of a no-brainer to draft Reese based on numerous things: the versatility,
Mm-hmm.
being able to be a spy against Josh Allen and Drake May. I just thought he was a better weapon, more upside, fitting perfectly in the 3 to 5 rebuild, which we've been talking about nonstop. Year 2 is a time to take some swings for the fences,
Hmm.
and they allegedly played it safe. And that was the story that they gave out to the national media, that this pick was David Bailey was a safer pick than Arvell Reese,
Yeah.
which is completely flawed as logic, first of all. And second of all, to have that attitude is just a terrible way to build a team. So that to me, and it's not about the player, it's about the potential, the versatility, and also, John, the usage of David Bailey in year 1. So he is going to play. As you are what you are searching for something there. I have to.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I had to disconnect something.
Yeah,
So
okay.
okay.
I just want to make sure that the people out there know you weren't like keeling over or something. You were making an adjustment.
I,
And I'll tell you, when I watch it, being a Jet fan, and we'll get to the other teams, of course, you could understand why, somebody might be, falling over talking about him all the time. So David Bailey is the selection. And everybody loves it. He's the best pass rusher. Okay, great. You think he's better than Reese? I disagree. We'll see how it plays out. I'm not killing the pick. Obviously, they need pass rush. He's a pass
Mhm.
rusher. The problem is, if you're looking at how the team is being built, and this is going to be one of my biggest gripes of this draft, is that, and you know how I talk about the snap percentages
Yep.
and all the
Yep.
time, because the bottom line is, if you are not on the field, you're not going to make an impact. So if you're a rotational player like even Quinnen Williams was, who could barely get over 70% his whole career with the Jets, every third play roughly he was not on the field. So
Hmm.
you're obviously not making as big of an impact if you're not on the field. Certain positions in football, it's required, right? Because the guys wear down. But that's why, to me, you don't spend the top draft capital on guys that may not be on the field.
Hmm.
So this is the dilemma that we're going to see coming up in September: is how often is David Bailey going to be on the field? He is basically going to play an outside linebacker position, which is basically, again, I'll bring up LT again because everybody kind of knows LT and how he played and where he came from, what position I mean, where he's playing on the outside and he's basically standing up, where he's mostly going to rush the passer, obviously,
Hmm.
but there's it's not passing situation on every down. So on 1st and 10, opening day of 2026, is David Bailey going to be on the field? And that to me is the key to this. Because if he's not, and he's just rotating in and he's playing between 40 and 60% of the snaps. So people probably hear that and go, 40, 60% of the snaps? That's insane. There's no way David Bailey's going to play that little. Well, John, it came out, not came out, it's an old statistic. Will McDonald, right, our friend who was a first round pick, 5th-year option decision coming up any day.
Hmm.
Um, they have to decide if, to give him the extra year. The number of plays that he made played in the first year of his career. Do you know? Make a guess of what his percentage of plays was. Will McDonald as a rookie, if you had a guess.
As a rookie
As
or
a rookie,
or
his first.
last year?
No, rookie year, rookie. Even
Okay.
last year he wasn't out there that much, but his rookie year, how many percent was he?
I'm gonna say like 32%.
32, 18%
18. Wow.
as a
Wow.
rookie, as a rookie.
Yeah, I know, but that's
Right.
still really low.
So to show that undersized pass rushers, and which Will McDonald is, and David Bailey is, he's not a big human being, which is fine. He's known for his great first step off the line of scrimmage. And what can a team do to neutralize a player who's got a great first step? Use a tight end on that side of the field he's on and chip
Yep.
him, and he's finished.
Yep.
So this is what his skill set is. And again, I'm not knocking the kid, but he is in a situation where people are going to expect a lot. And it's kind of not fair for a kid like him who may not be ready to play 3 downs.
Hmm.
And if he's out there for 50% of the time, which based on the numbers, that would be a good result, how in the world is he going to have a bigger impact than a
Wow.
guy like Reese, who would play off the ball most likely the first year and probably be out there between 80 and 90% of the snaps, if not more?
Yeah,
So
that's a good
that is
point.
what to watch. And because, John, and this is one thing I have to bring up, and the young fan base in the tri-state, they don't have this feeling like we do. The Jet Giant rivalry and how the teams are look, they're competitors, and the fans are competitors too. The Giants have been so bad, just like the Jets, right, in the last 10 to 15 years, that the younger fans don't have that, where they hate the Giants as Jet fans, because the Giants haven't won anything. And the same thing going for young Giant fans. They don't hate the Jet fans. They're actually happy that they're as inept as they are, because it keeps everybody talking about them. So eh, so when this played out, where I didn't, who I wanted, and only time will tell who's right and who's wrong. The Giants end up with him, which
Yeah.
makes it so,
So
if you're a longtime Jet fan, 50 years and plus like we are, this falls into nightmare category.
it
Correct?
has it has potential to be a very large nightmare.
So today, the national media and a lot of local media and a lot of fans are all like jumping up and down, and it sounds great. So I'm just putting this out there. It's nothing about David Bailey. I don't have a problem with them picking him. They make the evaluations. They get paid to make evaluations. They made the pick. The one thing I don't want to hear is about how brilliant they are. Anybody can pick the second pick. All right. So that's enough with pick 2. Then we get to 16, and this was no man's land. And this is a draft that was just not, there were not super type of stars,
Right,
well-known guys,
right.
lack of QBs. There just wasn't a lot of them. So it was a lot of guys that a lot of people don't know who they are, and it's just like, oh, we'll throw these names out because the draft guys are throwing it out, and it's all based on need. So of course, what we were saying, and we talked about, is funny because what did we say they were, right? Cornerback with Alex, and receiver, and we talked about how fans can't think of, corner was a huge need. All right, so they get to 16, and there was, in theory, receivers to take, and they didn't take one. What did they do, John? They took a tight end at 16, which again is not a high value position. A guy like Brock Bowers, who they didn't draft 2 years ago, that we talked about wanting them to draft because of his skill set.
Yeah.
So Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon is John. This guy is a athletic freak, which is great. They're adding speed to their team. Bailey also, right? And later they add even more speed. So they're stronger, and they're bigger with their trades they've made, and they're faster. So this kid could be a top tight end. All right. Okay. So that's what I'm gonna put out there. Could, like any other of these guys. The bad side, he's not a blocker, and it's not his fault, and it's not the prior tight end's fault either. Mason Taylor, who they drafted in the second round, folks, last year.
Yeah.
So the Jets are using draft capital in consecutive years, because you have to look at regimes from the years that they're there. They're not responsible for Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas guys, right? But they're responsible for the guys that they take. And they need a concise, clear plan about how to build the team. Would you think that taking in your first 2 drafts, you would take, and again, I call the first 2 rounds premium picks. The third round is borderline if people want to call them premium. It's more first and second. They have taken 2 tight ends. So what does that force them to do is to actually play those guys. And, the infamous 12 personnel, get used to that lingo. It's called 2
Yeah.
tight end offense.
Yeah.
So to make the Sadiq pick worthwhile, John, and here we go again. How often is he going to play? And if he's out there, where the heck is Mason Taylor? So we don't want to have Mason Taylor playing 30% of the snaps and Sadiq playing 70. You want to obviously use them both on the field, but they can't just go with two tight ends consistently either. So again, the second pick, great athlete, a lot of upside. That sounds like Arvell Reese, guys. So
Yeah.
so they went safe on the first pick, but they didn't really go safe on the second pick. Okay. People were like mixed, right? So what happens? They don't have a receiver. We're sitting there at the end of day one, and because of the 8 minutes in between the picks, it went a lot faster. Now, the NFL, as always, they got to get their act together, right? Because when a player gets picked, can you just announce it right
Right.
away? Not
I
wait
agree.
5 minutes so
I
everybody's
agree.
online. I heard that they were 2 picks behind on the
Yep.
telecasts.
Yes, they were.
So get it together. I mean, that's another story. What else is new with the NFL? But they're bulletproof, right, John? So who cares? All right. So there you go. It's the end of the day. I'm like, I got one eye open. I'm like, I got to stay around. The Jets do pick 33, first pick of the second day, which we talked about was a no-brainer to trade. And what happens? Suddenly, the Jets trade into the first round and take a guy that most people would have been happy to take him at 16. I was not really in that category either, but I just knew there was no man's land and they didn't take him, but they got him at 30. They traded a fifth rounder, which is a theme we'll talk about quickly, soon, I should say. And they took Omar Cooper from Indiana. And this is the best pick of the day. They only gave up a 5. They didn't give up a lot. They only moved up 3 spots. He adds more speed, more toughness,
Yep.
gives us another option. So you've got to look at the draft as a total amount. And the first day was obviously a good day. How do you not have a good day when you have 3 first-round picks? So it's exciting to see that pick and Sadiq. I mean, these guys and David Bailey, they all potentially could be good players. And that's what we ultimately wanted the Jets to come out. And that's day one.
Well, and the way, it's funny that you mentioned waiting because I had already given up. I said, "Oh, on to the next day." And then I come back the next day and I'm like, "Hey, we're the Jets. They're supposed to get." And then I look back, I'm like, "Oh wow, they traded for that pick." And I was glad that again, I don't know these players, but
Right.
when I get their names, I go right on YouTube just to watch them.
Okay.
And and this kid Cooper's actually is going to be a nice match with Wilson. I think they're gonna do really. I mean, it takes a lot of pressure off of Wilson at least that you actually have someone capable and you don't have people with stone hands out there. I mean, we have plenty of those, and
Right.
hopefully they
Yeah.
get rid of them.
Yeah. No
But
options, no Alan Lazard options anymore.
oh,
So
please, no more.
he's going to help. Now, the other thing I mentioned that Sadiq is not really a blocker. So he plays in the slot. So he's kind of like a slot tight end. And Cooper likes to play in the slot, and Wilson likes to play in the slot too. They got a lot of guys in the slot. So, they didn't get a traditional outside receiver. So, I mean, that's an argument for another day. I mean, we'll see
But
how it works out. But you're right. Ultimately, they have legitimate players with potential because, again, they're
right.
rookies. Let's face
Well, I mean, but the one thing that concerns me, and no one's even, I mean, you and I speak about it on the side here, but all this confidence in Geno Smith, he's given all these weapons, and they're making it sound like, oh, well, this is great for Geno. I'm like, Geno, I'm sorry, there's just too much confidence in this guy. I mean, listen, better than Fields, but it's
not
they're
much.
trying to make him sound like an all-pro quarterback. He's not.
Well, yeah, John, this is almost like it brings back memories, not to the same extent because Rodgers is a Hall of Famer, but people remember we were saying I was kept going crazy. It's like the Jets version of Aaron Rodgers is not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
Who cares that he had Hall of Fame years? And if Geno, it falls into the same category where, of course, not obviously Hall of Fame, but all pro, or not all pro, that's obviously the top of the top. Pro Bowl, right, which is kind of bogus now because so
Yeah.
many guys don't even play. And like every, Justin Fields got, I think, got a Pro Bowl invite eventually because there was nobody left to play in that dumb flag football game. So I agree with you totally on the Geno piece. And that fits into the whole thing about, where we are in the first 4 games of next year and the whole tank, potential to tank. Anyway, we'll save that for next year. So anyway, let's get to day two. Day two is quick, right? One pick because they
Yeah.
made the trade, and so they were at 44, but they did trade down. So they went from, I think, 44, I think it went to 50, and then they
Yeah.
took another guy from Indiana, D'Angelo Pons. And I'm telling you, John, this guy, what he lacks in height, he has everything else, right? He's
Really?
got
Okay.
good
Because I
speed.
saw it right away. I said 5'8".
All
How's
right.
that
Well, we'll
gonna
give.
work?
Yeah, I think he's technically like 5'8.5" or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's
We'll
got
we'll
great
we'll subtract
vertical.
two. We'll subtract 2 inches from that.
Well, yeah, no, he's probably
I know.
legit.
I
No,
know. I know.
these
I'm
are
kidding.
legit now with the
I'm
when you.
kidding. I know. I'm
Okay,
kidding.
because the colleges lie like crazy, and
Yeah.
the pros end up lying a little bit too. So to make things look better, but this kid is just you're gonna love him, right? He's one of these guys, but he's not going to be an outside corner. All right. He played outside in college. He went up against some really good receivers, held his own. He could be an average outside corner in the NFL. His where he's going to make his money is on the inside slot, right? So he's going to be a slot corner. Bad news for Justin Brownlee. So another guy, though, because he most likely will not be playing outside, even though Aaron Glenn said he's going to play both. He also is not going to probably be a 100% snap guy. So Cooper has a possibility of playing almost 100% of the time, and Sadiq does not, and Bailey we already talked about. So when you're looking at this, everybody has to be realistic. It's like, okay, we spend our second rounder on a slot corner because that's what Pons is, right? But I like him. All right, that's day
Okay.
two. All right, John. Day three, where the draft nerds like myself, John, and we've talked about this, I think, on our show, right? How, let's face it, John, you know me forever. Who's attending the draft, talking about the draft? Who talked to Mel Kiper on numerous occasions back in the '80s? Me. So I look at day three as where the gems are found. Usually the Jets are nowhere to be found on day three. They have trouble on day one and two. So we get to day three. We got 3 fourth rounders because of the trade back. And I'm like, something? This type of draft was not top heavy, but there's a lot of guys who can play and who could maybe start eventually. This is going to be a potential for 3 additional guys to be on the team that could contribute, plus the 4 we already have. I'm feeling great. All right, comes around first pick. They take Darrell Jackson, a run stuffer defensive tackle from Florida State. The guy is huge, John.
Yeah.
His hands were like 11 and a half or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. They're
This
large.
is He is a huge human being. I'm not going to say I know anything about him, right? I really don't. He was I think I heard his name thrown around here and there. He went exactly where people thought he would go. He's a rotational player again. Even if he's dressing on D tackle, it's going to be tough for him to get a spot on opening day. I'm not going to say the roster. He'll definitely make the roster, but like he could be an inactive week one. Another guy that may not contribute. So all these picks, kind of except for Bailey, are building for the rebuild, right? So I kind of I could live with this pick. I don't love it, but I can live with it. And not to mention, I got two more fourth round picks coming up. All right, here we go. All of a sudden, I had to do something, right? I had to run out. Yeah, it was a plant sale. So, folks, this just shows the other side of Zuby. It's spring season, so there's a local place that has some really cool plants. We go every year, blah blah. My wife's like, "There's a plant sale." We forgot about the plant sale. I'm like, "Crap!" It was raining, but we went anyway. I run out of the house. So I come back, I turn on, I'm turning to waiting because the Jets were picking 128th, and they were on like 120 or whatever it was, and I'm like, oh, who else was picked? They're not scrolling the names at that point.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
oh my God, there's
yeah.
no names. I don't even know what's going on. So I go online, and I look to see who the fourth round picks have been. And I'm scrolling down and I see the Jets, little helmet thing, the little jet, right? And I'm like, the Jets traded up. And then I'm looking at the name and I did a double take, a triple take. The tears started falling down my cheek on the fourth take. The head hit the ground. And then when I found out that not only did the Jets draft Cade Klubnik, they traded their other fourth round for the rights to take him. All right. So I'm sitting there saying to myself, it was just too good to be true up to this point. I can live with all the things I've pointed out, and this is what our show's about, John. We're not homers and saying everything's great. When that happened, I was like, what is going on? All right. Cade Klubnik is his ceiling. You know how like they talk about floor and ceiling? His ceiling in the NFL, ceiling, is a backup quarterback, second stringer. Ceiling. His floor is obviously third string quarterback out of the league in 2 years, maybe playing in the UFL. So I can't sit here and say, oh, A plus A, whatever, because this move was just a bad move. And
I didn't
that's it.
understand. I didn't understand it. I
Because
didn't
not
understand it.
and this player is going to give you nothing in 2026, zero, and you traded away a potential another player that could have actually helped you in 2026. And then you start hearing, oh, Frank Reich loved them, and it's almost like Frank Reich made the pick, and you just you just get this feeling like this is the same old stuff that this
Yeah.
organization has been doing for decades, where Rex Ryan used to make picks, and I was just like absolutely amazed by this move. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about it forever because I'm just going to say this one time. I don't agree with it. I thought it was a bad move. And I think a year from now, we're going to be kind of chuckling about it because, we're lucky if he does anything. Now, if he gets on the field, that's definitely going to set up um, for a high pick in 27. And
Oh yeah.
actually, I did hear one guy say, I don't remember who it was. I've watched a lot of content the last week. He's a great tank commander. So, like Brady Cook, who is a great tank commander. And again, it's not fair to the kids themselves, right? So I don't want to make it, like, oh, Cade Klubnik, like he's a bad kid or whatever. He's not. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. I hope he does. So that's what kind of just set me off the rails. And then we'll just, we'll get that pick, and then in the sixth round, right? Because again, they traded up. Then they also traded up for the sixth round pick and gave up one of their seven. So they ended up with two more picks, right? Anise Cooper, who actually, the good thing about Cooper is, John, he played. I think he had
Oh,
45 consecutive starts, played at
oh,
Miami, went to the
oh, good,
championship game. He's a
good.
huge kid, huge kid. Maybe too huge. Is he in, can he stay in condition? Going to get next to nothing out of him, but he's depth for the future. This is when you're going to get your offensive linemen, your backups, and hopefully a surprise starter around 5, 6, right? So that I was fine with. And then in the seventh round, they took a kid, VJ Payne, who actually, a lot of people thought he should have been a fourth or fifth rounder. He's got
Oh,
good size. He's a safety. Hopefully will help on special teams. He's got really long arms. He's got like 33-inch arms. Somebody joked that if he was the fourth pick and Klubnik was the seventh pick, everybody would be happy, except the fact that they traded the four. So that is the turbo view, John, from Zuby after the Jets draft. I'm rooting for all these kids. Every rookie gets 1 year from me. Even last year's guys, I give the guys this second year. You got to give the kids a year to adjust to NFL life.
Yeah.
I'm not going to trash any of these kids at all. So good luck to them. Hopefully they'll help. And I'm hopeful that this is again between 2026 and 2027 draft. The Jets are finally going to build a foundation and hopefully they get the quarterback. So in 2028 and 29, we can actually get some good results, right, John?
That
And
would be
then maybe,
fantastic.
maybe by some miracle, maybe we get some playoff games, maybe even a home playoff game. Can you imagine that?
Oh
So
man.
that's all we could do is hope.
Well, the one thing that, again, I don't know the players, but when I saw his name, I'm saying I know that there was another quarterback. Was it Nussmeyer?
Nussmeyer, Nussmeyer.
Yeah. So what happened with him? Where he fell down, he fell so far down, and this kid got ahead of him. I mean, they,
Everybody got ahead of him, John. The kid
yeah. I
from
mean,
Rutgers, the Greek kid, you see, you
yeah,
should
yeah,
keep.
yes, yeah.
He
I
got
saw it.
drafted ahead of Nussmeyer. So
Yeah.
Nussmeyer, I don't know. There was some rumors he had like some injury with a back injury.
Hmm.
I think it was medical, John. I really think it was medical. But look who took him? Kansas City. Perfect spot for the kid.
Right,
Perfect.
right, right. Imagine now he'll
Yeah.
something
He'll.
happens.
Well,
It's
Justin Fields is there, John. Don't forget. So there's a good chance he
oh
actually may play if Patrick
that's
Mahomes can't.
true. That's actually true. I forgot about Fields.
Yeah. So again, good day, and a couple other things I just want to throw out, random things. Yeah, I feel a lot better. Carson Beck was this, and I know you feel better because I know you don't follow a lot of college, but you knew who Carson Beck was, and you watched him play,
Yeah,
and we talked about him. I talked about him as a potential at one point, the 44th pick months ago. I went off of that because everyone's telling me how bad he is, and the Cardinals take him in the top of the third round. So we shall see again with this stuff. It's no one knows, and we'll find out. I felt better because I was like, I wasn't, my thoughts. And Alex said, I think the same thing. He liked Beck, and I know you did
yeah,
too. So good luck to him. He's going to get a chance with the Cardinals. My God, I mean, it's a perfect place to go get. And that's why I thought he'd be good for the Jets because, again, in theory, you can call him a tank commander. It's not fair. I really don't like that, but
yeah, yeah,
because it's not fair to the kids. But John, no doubt, and I've already said this, right? The Cardinals are absolutely in the tank. They are going for Arch Manning. There is no question in my mind that this is the way it's going to play out. Now, Arch Manning still has a lot to prove, right? So we'll see how the college season turns out next year and the parade of
yeah,
quarterbacks. But
yeah,
I'm telling you, John, the Cardinals, and you know something, it's a good decision for them because who cares? Sometimes, right, John? You got to bottom out. You can't stay in purgatory, but picking between 6 and 12 for 30 years, right? There's nothing wrong with bottoming out and tanking sometimes. So the Cardinals, I predict, are going to do it. Maybe I'm wrong. And it's going to be something that we're going to talk about during the football season because, hey, any way you slice it, John, the Jets are still a team that has a lot of holes, a brand new coaching staff, a coach with a lot to prove. And is he going to buckle under the pressure? Will Captain Chaos, Woody Johnson, get anxious and do something stupid? You just never know. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be an interesting season. So at least we've got some influx of young talent. That's always nice.
Now, the picks that we have next year in the first round, what slots are they?
Well, TBD, of course, right?
No,
Depends how
no,
you
I'm
feel.
saying,
Yeah.
but I know that. I'm saying,
Colts and the Cowboys. Colts and the Cowboys.
okay, okay,
So, hey, John, the Jets fans when they're playing each week, it's about rooting against the Colts and the Cowboys
yeah,
every week. And yeah, the Colts are the more likely team to maybe bottom out and get a miracle for the Jets where they could maybe be at least a top 10 pick. That would be fantastic.
that would be
I don't
fantastic.
think Dallas, they actually had a pretty nice draft. I mean, Prescott's kind of too good of a quarterback to have a terrible team. Daniel Jones, I don't have a huge amount of confidence, even when he's healthy, and we don't even know if he's going to be ready for the season. So And our buddy Sauce Gardner's there. He could go another hamstring injury or dropped another 5 interceptions. So we'll see what happens. So it's John. It's every week, John. Next year, every week we'll be talking about it. Hopefully, I don't know if we're doing a show every week next year. Who knows? We'll do a lot of Jet stuff, but we're definitely going to take a break from the Jets, and who can blame us? And then quickly, I guess we should mention the Giants. But before we talk about the Giants, just want to again thank everybody for checking out the draft show. We'll talk about Alex's picks as well briefly, because not much to talk about, right? It's like where'd they go, and we'll see how they do. So again, YouTube.com, Spotify.com. If you can like episodes, you can subscribe. It helps us out. It drives the algorithm because this is an algorithmic platform. And it's just, we appreciate the support. And if people could do that, that'd be great on all platforms. And of course, John, the world famous LIR.com, 927LIR.com. Any update with them? They got any other concerts? What's anything news? If you don't have anything, that's okay. Anything good?
I mean, other than, Billy Idol is actually has a concert tour by himself this year.
Okay.
So,
is he venturing to Long Island?
No, unfortunately, he was at Madison Square Garden last year with Joan Jett. So I didn't get to see that. I know that the Human League is coming with.
You mentioned that. Yeah, you mentioned
I
a few
think
weeks ago.
Yeah, which I'm not going to see because.
I think you said Simple Minds was playing, right?
Yeah,
so,
that's
but
yeah.
we must have. Okay, right. So we must alarm people that just because they use the band name doesn't mean the person who was the lead singer, as example,
Right.
is still with the band. So you got to be a little careful.
Yeah,
It sounds
true,
great. Oh, Simple
true.
Minds. I don't remember what his name was, but if Simple Minds is a guy, right? It's not like that's the name of his band. Of course, he has a band, but it's one individual guy. If he's no longer there, and it's like some retread keyboard players keeping the name alive, you got to be a little careful.
It's true.
So buyer beware. As always, again, thanks everybody for helping us out. It would be great if you could, and again, hopefully enjoying the content, because we tell it like it is. Quickly with the Giants, because we got to get to the other sports. Hey, they took our guy Arvell Reese, which we already mentioned. Francis Malinois, guard, tackle, not a bad pick. Has a medical issue. Hopefully that's not going to be a problem. They desperately needed O-line, and then they took Colton Hood, actually a really good pick in the second round corner. Guy I thought that hopefully the Jets were going to try to get. Of course, they gave that up when they made the trade up. So, I'm not going to go through the rest of the guys, but we'll see what happens.
Look solid. Listen, the Giants to me look solid. I mean, you have a great coach. I'm telling you, that's going to be a quick turnaround for them.
Well, they have you can argue how great he is, but the bottom line is he's a proven coach, and that matters in the NFL.
Yes.
And again, around the league,
it proves in any sport. Proven coach,
right?
Proven winner, not let's take the newest and greatest prospect manager, which unfortunately some of our teams have.
Right. Yeah. John, I know you're chomping at the bit. We'll get there. But just quickly around the league, there's no doubt the biggest surprise round one, Ty Simpson going to the Rams, bringing back memories of the Michael Penix pick when the Falcons took him when they just had signed Cousins. That turned out to be a mini disaster. Penix is not a bad player, but is he a top player? This is a little different, of course, because obviously Stafford has been there, as opposed to being just signed. The whole thing, McVay had a reaction, then claims he was saying that it was only to kind of make Stafford feel good. Well, how does it make it feel good when you just admitted that you faked it to make him feel good?
It was ridiculous. And then to have an interview, what is it, a day or two later, joking around with these draft guys, smiling away and talking about he's going to get in some type of push-up contest with one of them. I'm like, what a phony.
John, we think there's propaganda in the government level. My God, propaganda on the NFL level is too much.
And they had McVay on for at least 15, 20 minutes on that interview. It was incredible. I've
Too
never seen
fun.
such a long interview. I'm like, what is he? What? He's on for so long, and most of it was joking around with. I don't know who these two guys were,
Oh, okay.
joking
I
around
didn't see
with
it.
them. Yeah, it was
Uh,
ridiculous.
It is.
So,
They just. Oh God. They just the butt kissing that goes on in the NFL. It reminds me of the quick because I don't think we've talked about the Diana Rossini Mike Vrabel story because when this first came out and anybody with half a brain saw what was actually going on, and of course what do people start saying? Diana Rossini is such a great reporter. All these guys in the media came to her rescue, like saying, and don't say anything bad about her or you have to worry about your job. And it's like, what are you, a bunch of freaking robots? I mean, are you kidding me? You have a reporter, and then it got even worse, right? Because allegedly 6 years it's been going on. I
and they
mean,
have
it's like
pictures of them and they
unbelievable.
have pictures of them in a New York bar.
Right, from 6 years ago.
Yep.
So this has been going on the side. This is not like, let's face it, this is not a love affair. And how many other people, let's face it, John, she was a great reporter. She got great scoops. Well, how many areas in the department store was she scooping, right? So,
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
we had to bring it up. We criticized her numerous times with their Aaron Rodgers stuff, and she
Yep.
always claimed she had the inside information on the Jets, and all it was freaking Mike Vrabel's view from Tennessee and New England. That was
Yep.
all her
Yep.
from the Jets stuff. Like everybody acts like what a great insider she is. I mean, when you can get to that level, head coach in the NFL is your source, you're going to get every dirt, every
Yep.
piece of dirt.
Yep.
That's the top of the top. The coaches know everything. And I mean, it's really just a
Well,
colossal embarrassment. It really is.
colossal. What about Vrabel? I mean, now he's going to go for counseling.
On
I
the
love
third
that.
day of the draft, on the
Right,
third
right,
day of the draft.
right, right. On the third day of the draft, he's going for counseling, and he's saying, "Yeah, I'm apologizing to my wife, to my family. I want to be a better person." I'm like, it's just like the same old story.
Yeah.
They think, and you know what? It's just going to go away, like because people are saying, "No, he's getting counseling." It's all going to be. Come on, man.
John, I can't wait for he's addicted to sex.
But you know what's crazy
Yes.
is the stupidity on her part because she married a very wealthy guy.
Yeah, right. He's like an
Uh,
executive at Shake Shack, right, or something like that, right?
something like
Yeah, no, it's Shake Shack, the company, the burger
yeah,
place.
like and was very critical. It's weird is when you get into these affairs, they happen to find all these tapes, and she's busy. They have several tapes of her trashing her husband.
Yeah, no,
I think, wow.
classic. Really, just anyway. What I feel bad for the husband, I guess. Maybe not. What do I care? Anyway, we
Oh,
had to talk about it.
expect a
John, there's one
divorce
other.
soon.
Yeah, yeah, there's one thing I had, and it came up today. I don't know if you saw it. Um, Brandon Sorsby, who was the quarterback at University of Cincinnati, and then went to Texas Tech on a big money NIL deal, has left the program or temporarily left the program to deal with his gambling problem. This is something that I give you credit. You have been outspoken on this. This is one of these things that I don't know, 5 years from now, it's going to explode. It's already exploding, but it's a complete, and that's what we had talked earlier, right? About the draft picks and all this crazy swing in the odds. This is a real problem, real big problem.
It's a huge problem, and they were saying that he made not single bets, thousands of
Yeah.
bets. And what I also read, and I was a little astonished, is in I think there's 40 states now that have legalized betting on sports. 40.
Yeah, right.
And only four of them have centers to address sports betting, and New York is not one of them. I think maybe New Jersey, Virginia. It's some odd states that have it. But imagine that they're making all this money off of all this gambling off of the backs of people like this kid. It's amazing. It's sick. It's actually really sickening.
Yeah, it's bad.
This is not good for society. Not good. Not
No,
good.
it's not. It's not. And it's just like having a drug problem. When you have a gambling problem, you
Worse.
can
It's
really
it's actually gambling is considered the worst vice out of drugs. Alcohol is gambling.
no, because yeah, it can ruin your life, I guess, all in a different way financially, and that's
Yeah,
something, and it ruins your
and it's
family's
more
life.
addictive. It's more addictive
It's more addictive. Well,
because the
John, it's
point.
so easy on the phone. It's just crazy how it is.
No,
So,
it's ridiculous. I mean,
yeah,
it's not like the old days where you had some sleazy kid in high school handing you a
sheets.
cheat sheet, whatever those little things are,
Four
and
for four, you made like $20 or whatever it was. I don't remember. It was good. Ah, the glory days. All right, John. I had to mention that. Had to mention the thing about Mike Vrabel. So we're done with football because we're trying to get our show
no,
tight tonight. No, there's more. Go, 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 go.
no, you forgot about Alex's picks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Alex's pick. Sorry about that. He butchered the guy's name, but we're going to give Alex a pass. Malachi Lawrence. He called him Maliki, so I'm giving him a little hard
Okay,
time there. I didn't want to correct him on the show, but bottom line is the kid was taken in the first round, John. So Alex was not alone for the love of him. UCFD edge. Cowboys took him. So we will be able to follow them because one of the Giants rivals, and just the fact that, of course, like I mentioned earlier about the Cowboys and how we'll be watching them. And then the other kid was drafted in the 5th round, and the kid from Missouri. Oh my God, I can't remember his name. It's escaping me right now.
you talking about the wide receiver?
Wide receiver, and he actually went to the Dolphins. He went to the Dolphins.
Okay.
So I will.
What is that called? Coleman? Was that
Yes,
Coleman?
Coleman. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, he went to the Dolphins in the 5th round. So yeah, we'll be able to keep tabs on him too.
Okay. Your man McCoy went all the way down in the
Yeah,
draft.
right.
Way down. What did he
Injury.
go in like the
4th
fourth
round.
round?
First pick of the 4th round.
I'm surprised that the Jets didn't try to get him.
It's a risk, right? So if some teams just took him off the board, John. If medical,
Yeah,
he can't
yeah,
play in the NFL for any extended period. 4th round pick for the Raiders. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right?
yeah,
You're not again. Like you said, the Jets could have went in that direction in theory. They would have to obviously manage things differently. But I would, you could guess that he was off the board. So anyway, actually, it's so funny with these stuff. I'll find out exactly the Miami picks, right? I don't know what happened here. But yeah. So was anything else in the NFL draft that you thought about? I don't
no,
want to
no, no other surprises.
I just have to get this out of the way, and then we will move
Just
on. Kevin Coleman. I wanted to get his first name, pick 177. So, John, Alex has been great with his picks, and we'll see because he's got
yeah,
Malachi Lawrence is kind of more of a known guy, but still was not expected to go in the 1st round, more of a 2nd rounder, and Coleman. So we good. All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
John, it's all about the Knicks. The only hope in the tri-state.
Oh
We are talking
boy,
on Monday, the 27th of April. They are tipping it off tomorrow, correct?
yeah.
Is this still on Amazon Prime? Is that what's going on? We both have Amazon, right? So I don't want to, right? Is it on Amazon again, or is it on ESPN?
well, no, it's weird because there's so many different channels that they had it on Channel 4, NBC, ABC, ESPN,
Correct, correct.
Prime.
But the Knicks in
That
particular have been on Prime, not
Prime,
every
yeah,
game,
not
but
every
I
game.
was just wondering game 5. I just feel horrible for the, lifelong Knick fan who pays for MSG all year, and
Yeah,
they have to get an Amazon Prime membership. And if they don't have a smart TV or they don't have the right cable company that supports apps, I mean, they can't watch their team.
They can't watch the team. I
Come
know.
on, what is
It's really,
going
it's
on?
shameful. It's actually shameful.
It is shameful.
It's
What a
shameful.
disgrace. Anyway, so what do you 2-2? I know what you're going to say. They're going to win the next two, right, John? There's no way. You
Listen,
think it's going 7?
no, like I said, I don't know what they were doing during games 2 and 3.
Well, they
I mean,
blew the
game
2.
2, they just handed away.
Right, right.
Game 3, it's like they didn't even show up until like the second half. And the difference in the two games that they basically blew them out is when they started distributing the ball to each other rather than having Brunson hog up the ball, hold on to it for 15 seconds out of the 24, and then make some type of move. It's and when we had Gamal on, I remember Gamal kept saying about Carl Anthony Towns that he must score 25 and have 10 rebounds. And I said, no. I said, I don't need him to score 20. I need him to distribute the ball, rebound, play defense, just have an all-around game. He could score 17, 18 points. They'll win. That's exactly what he did in this game. He was, he had the triple-double. He had a great game because guess what? He wasn't forcing shots. They weren't forcing shots. They played as a team, and they played tough. That I noticed it right away from the beginning. They were pissed. That's the word.
Josh Hart in particular.
Yes.
Josh Hart, he was fantastic in Game 4, John.
Yes, he was.
I mean,
and
he's
Alvarado,
not a great scorer, but
and they should use Alvarado more too because he's a fire plug too.
yeah, no, it's hard. It's tough to distribute those minutes, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Brunson playing less because they have McBride's played well. He's been shooting the ball well. Just Josh Hart has for the intangibles alone. He just has to be out there because the guy, it just will do anything to win. And Mikal Bridges is the other casualty, so he's the major casualty, and Brunson will lose some minutes as well, right? And they're better. They're a better team. Let's face it. If that would happen, right? They're better.
They're better. And they, again, even if it's for 5 to 10 minutes, use Diawara. He's long. He can defend against these other guys. He with the wingspan on that kid, let him play some defense. You don't need that kid to score. Even though he's a pretty good 3-point shooter. Just bring him out there. Let him play against McCollum or any of these other guys. This should have been an easy series for them. They made it into a brawl here, and I'm like, this should have been a sweep, very easily a sweep. Well, but we are where we are. We just need them not to take Madison Square Garden for granted and think, oh, well, we're in front of our home. You got to play the same way like you did Game 4 with fire, that you're angry, and you just want to, bully these guys. And that's exactly what they did. They absolutely – and Anunoby –
yes, and we should mention
I love that guy. I just love Anunoby. I've loved him. I when that trade was made, how much I love that trade.
Yeah, true.
There you go. Look at him. He's another guy. We'll do anything to win.
Yeah, no, agreed. I should have mentioned him too. You're right. I mean, then that's the team. It's Cat, those two, him and Hart, and then Brunson and whoever they kind of want to go with, right? So and Bridges, like I said, he's got to be the casualty. And I think Shamet and Clarkson, these are the guys that can lose minutes.
I mean,
Alvarado gives him spark. I agree.
Clarkson's
and Diarra, not a bad idea.
But Clarkson's not bad. He actually decided for the first time in his life, in his career, to play defense. But Shamet should be out of the rotation completely.
Yeah, it's got to be a casualty somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And he's the easy one. And are you watching the other series? I'm not.
I actually am
watching everything. Okay.
Toronto, surprisingly,
was that 2-2?
2-2 with Cleveland, and they played a great game yesterday. I mean, Barrett. People don't realize that Toronto is the youngest team in the NBA. They have really, really young players, and Quickly's out with an injury, so he's not even playing in that series. You have Barnes. They have good players. The fact that they bullied Cleveland was something to watch. I mean, with Harden and Mitchell, oh my God, they bullied those guys. So you got to give them credit. Orlando is another one.
Yeah. So what's that series now? I don't even
Two
know.
games to one, Orlando.
Oh, it is 2 games to 1 Orlando. Okay, so
Yeah, and
obviously
Orlando.
game 4 is tonight, Monday, most likely, right?
Yeah,
They're playing tonight. It's a
yeah.
huge game.
Wagner's playing great. Bencaro, Bain.
Hmm.
They made a big trade for him. That's a big difference in the team. I'm telling you, Orlando's very, very dangerous team. I'm not so Toronto not so much, but Orlando is someone to watch. Wow, that team is really has a lot of weapons, a
Yeah.
lot of weapons.
Well, unfortunately for the Knicks, like as we discussed last week with the lack of reseeding, the
Yeah,
screw job there, and having to play the Celtics, who they look like the best team in the East. But we'll see. We'll see. Everybody's got to
imagine,
get to the next round. You got to get to the next round. Let's
imagine if
get
the
there first.
Magic, imagine with that stupid playoff system, if the Magic and the Raptors end up winning, they end up playing each other,
Right.
and
Yeah.
the Knicks play the Celtics.
I mean, yeah, come on. A terrible job. And would that hopefully force the NBA to get off of this not reseeding? It's absolutely, again, how hard it is to reseed. I just don't get it. It's,
Well, and what's the purpose of finishing high in the seeding if you're going to end
yeah,
up playing the best teams? And it's ridiculous.
it
In the
really,
second round,
it's, John, it's nonsensical. It really is. It's just, it's bad. It's stupid I just don't get it. It's like amazing, John. We've been following sports our whole lives, and this stuff still happens, right? Where you just you bang your head. I guess quickly we should just mention in the West, minute the Timberwolves, talk about a disastrous game, losing Dante and Edwards. My God, I mean
yeah,
that's sad. That's terrible. I hate to
that's
see that.
the yeah, me too. That's the end of their playoff run very quickly. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's major, major. And that was proving to be you know, they were gonna win that series.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, the Lakers are hanging in there, right? They're up 2-1. Is that true? Is it 2-1?
Uh,
They're up.
No, 3-1.
Oh, is it 3-1 now? Okay. So yeah,
Uh,
LeBron is just like old man River. He's still going. Good
yeah,
for
but
yeah.
what was amazing is the comeback by San Antonio with Portland. They were down by 17 at the half, and they ended up beating them, I think, by 21. And there was this play with Wembanyama where I've never he has just such long arms. He blocks the shot, then blocks it, then grabs the ball and starts dribbling down in one motion. He blocks it, boom. It didn't even fall to the ground. I mean, what a player.
Yeah. No, I
That
tell you.
that Oklahoma series,
Yeah.
when they play each other, oh
Yeah.
my God, that's going
That's
to be some series to watch.
it. Sure is. All right. So NBA. We're not even talking hockey. There's nothing to talk about in the tri-state. John. This is just. I mean, talk about the easiest call of all time. But to see it happening, I get no joy in knowing that the Mets just absolutely, I just can't believe what we're witnessing. This is absolutely incredible. 2 years ago, this team was challenging for the championship. Now, I mean, this is this lineup is I mean, it's minor league. They cannot without Soto or Lindor, they have no chance. So I know I haven't done it in a while, and I'm going to do it today because it's time for baseball with Book.
what what I wrote down, okay? I had to write it down because
Yes.
all right, let's start off with managing again. So Alex Cora was fired by the Red Sox. Why wasn't a call made the minute we found out that he's available? The man needs to be the Mets manager. Okay? professional manager, good with players. Actually, as much as we don't think much of Lindor, is actually best friends with Lindor. So, and Lindor has him as a mentor and calls him his big brother. So I'm expecting a change. I was saying Carlos Beltran, but now that Alex Cora is available, that should be the call. The second call needs to be, as I've been saying for a long time, I'm going to, instead of Boy Wonder, okay, they call him the boy, I'm going to call him Boy Blunder, okay,
That's a good
because
one.
this guy is probably, and the Mets have had some really bad GMs over the year. I mean, I always think of Joe McDonald as being one of like the worst ones of all time. This guy beats him by a mile. And what I don't understand is how can Steve Cohen, keep him in as general manager when this guy consistently, I mentioned it last week, consistently loses the man's money. I'm going to give you an example. So a couple of weeks ago, the Mets signed Tommy Pham to a minor league contract. And part of that contract is if he made the major leagues, if he came to the Mets, that he would get $2.5 million. What do the Mets do? So they sign him to the minor league, they bring him up. The guy hasn't had spring training. He was a very late signing. He goes 0 for 13. He didn't get any hits. He maybe walked. They released him yesterday within 2 weeks. $2.5 million down the drain.
Well, but you're saying isn't that like prorated over the time he's
No,
playing?
no, it's
Guaranteed?
not.
He's
It's
guaranteed.
guaranteed. So any team that signs him now only has to pay him the major league minimum. The Mets are eating that unless it's the dumbest thing in life. See, in other words, now they released him. If someone's dumb enough to claiming waivers, then they're responsible for his
Yeah,
salary. If
there's no
they,
chance of that happening, of course.
yeah, the $2.5 million. What about this guy Luis Garcia, 39-year-old reliever that they signed and released him after what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks, $1.3 million down the drain. It's just incredible how much money he's wasted of Cohen. I mean, not that I should be counting Cohen's money, but we think about Frankie Montas. Uh, I mean, just one after the other. I just wrote down some of this crap. It's terrible. I mean, Joey Wendell, another guy, $2 million. How long did he last? Maybe a month. I mean, if you think about all the money that this guy has wasted and all these stupid signings, stupid trades, I mean, really, really dumb trades. It's a wonder that I don't know. Does he have something on Cohen? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he
Well,
was doing the insider trading for that miscreant. I have no idea, but I'm just looking at this list of all these losers that he signs, he releases, he has them for a couple of weeks. All these no names that are no longer in baseball. I mean, this is the Stearns. If you want to look at his track record, he started in 2020, really 2024, beginning. This is a horrific record, horrific. So everyone needs to go. And as I said, bring up the kids now. What do we have to lose? Simeon has to sit. Even though he's been hitting a little bit better, I would actually release him, to be honest. As long as you're wasting money, eat the $72 million left on his. There's no reason for him. He's like another Robinson Cano. Why? Why do we have him on a team? He's taking a younger player's spot. Like I said, put Bichette there. Let Beatty go to third. Now you could have Mauricio play shortstop since Lindor is going to be out. Vientos is probably going to play first. That's what it looks like. There's nobody else. It's a mess. They're unwatchable. They're unwatchable.
Oh, 100%. And the run prevention mentality, where it is so flawed because Mark Vientos, like you said, playing first base. He's not a first baseman. Moving Bichette all over the place, moving Beatty all over the place. And the one guy, I got to tell you, because I know he's done well, but is it me or does Luis Robert have like a terrible throwing arm? Is it?
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up. He he used to have a gun for an arm.
That's what I
It,
thought.
it, it looks like he has like a sore arm or something. And when he tries to make a throw to home plate, it's so offline. It's not even close.
But it's got no power on it. Like
Nothing.
nobody's saying anything. No, like so. Is this
No.
are we breaking news on Bouk and Zoobie? Like, am I, and I know you know this once I mentioned it because I was like, I have to talk to John about Luis Roberts' arm because there was a couple of plays where I was like, okay, let's see if he's got a shot to throw the guy out. And it was like the ball was fading as it got
Yep.
to like the infield. There
Yep.
was like no prayer of getting a
Eh,
guy at home. I'm
eh,
like, the word's going to get out. They're going to be running all over him. Is that so? I'm not crazy when I
Yeah,
say
I
that.
think I think there's definitely something wrong with because this guy had the same type of arm like Cespedes. He had a gun for an arm. And so when I'm watching him this year and he's making these throws to home plate and they're so offline and they're like, you know, it's like
They're
does that happen?
lollipops, Sean. They're not
Right,
even like if they were offline and they were with
right,
power, I could be like,
right,
okay, he's just being inaccurate. He'll get it
right,
together. It's
right.
early in the season, but he's got no power. There's no
No,
power
nothing.
there.
No, I wanted to say it's
It's
funny you saw that.
inaccurate and weak.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I was wondering that too.
All right. And then Carson Ben he's gotta go down, John. He's just not ready, and it's not fair to him. Just it's so
And
stupid. He's
having
not
him
ready.
bat lead off and then batting him sick. That again, that's the problem with Mendoza. We mentioned it last week. These are all desperation moves. Now he has Bichette batting leadoff.
Right. He moved
Really?
that. Yeah.
I
And
mean,
then
they're all over it.
Alvarez was
Third. Alvarez was third. I and Robert was cleanup.
John,
They have
how
him
this
clean
lineup
up.
is hard. This is an absolute a disaster. This lineup without Lindor and without Soto, but even with Lindor, it's bad. But at least he could bat lead off because that's where he should be. And then at least you have respectable him, Soto and Bichette. You've got three
Right.
professional hitters there and a bunch of hit or miss guys. And but without one of them, and again, Soto, I mean, he's gonna John, he's gonna tank it out and not care. Give him enough. If they're in this mess of 2 months from now, can you
Oh.
imagine what it's going to be like in end of June, the All Star break? I mean, this is just
Well,
and it's just awful. It's
the
awful.
stands are already empty. If you've
Oh,
been watching the games, totally empty in the stadium.
and they're
People
playing
are
bad teams. They're playing bad
bad teams.
teams.
They're playing bad teams.
And the
I
only thing, John, the only thing that's saving them is the Phillies have been a disaster. It's the only thing that they can grab onto and say, well, we're not the only ones. And I know Atlanta's playing well, but it's only the one team that's playing well, right? And everybody else is
yeah,
under 500. But they
yeah.
are just really bad because we talked about it right last week briefly that to get to like 90 wins, which is maybe the magic number, or 80, I know last year with the
91. Yeah.
Reds, whatever the magic number is, right? Last year, the Reds got in with not many wins, but
Right.
they have to play what 20, 25 games over 500 the rest of the year. This team, there's no way they can even be. They're lucky if they play 500 from this
They
day,
actually have
April
to play
27th. They're
they
lucky.
actually have to play 30 games over 500
Yeah,
to
whatever the
get
number is. But the point, like
they
they're
have no
lucky
shot.
if they
They
could
have no
play
shot.
500, John. If they
Yeah, they
play
have no shot.
500 ball for the next month, everybody's going to be going crazy. But then they'll look at the standings and it's over. I
Yeah.
mean, they need to turn but they don't have the ability because they don't have the players. And
No.
you called it last week too, saying the only thing they have is the starting pitching, which is kind of true. Senga again, they got to take him out of the rotation. Let Manaya get a shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again,
And to have Peterson
Peralta,
coming in and have Peterson coming in relief. What are they doing here?
right, and then
Peterson
also
should be starting.
but their ace Peralta, he's a 5 inning, 6 inning
I told
pitcher,
you. What did I tell you? That
and
he never gets past the sixth
so
inning. I
that doesn't
told you.
help enough. And Holmes has been unbelievable. The guy's been
Yes, he has.
unbelievable, and then
Yes, he has.
McLean's been really good. But after 5 innings, he falls apart. So this has just been beyond. It really is just. I mean, they stink. And we did the hiatus. We joked about it a couple years ago, and we're not going to do a hiatus right now because our Knicks, your Knicks mostly, are there. Hopefully they better advance, John, and we will have more shows, obviously based on the Knicks.
Yes.
Because let's face it, folks, football you can rehash draft for as long as you want, doesn't matter. I'll see you at training camp. And it's just it's all about the Knicks, John. And we'll be back talking about them, and maybe during the Celtics series, hopefully, maybe even before. But hopefully the Knicks can end this in the next 2 games and not have to go to Game 7 at the Garden, which of course you
Yeah.
hate, right?
Yeah.
That's like could be a House of Horrors
Well,
thing. So
I
hopefully
want
it
to
works out.
ask you
Yes,
before we wrap it up.
yes.
What do you think the Mets should do?
Oh, regarding Mendoza?
Just in general, you've heard my side of what I think they should
I
do.
think
What do you think?
all right. I mean, I think you're completely correct about Cora. 100% should try to hire him. 100%. They're not going to fire Stearns during the season, right? That's not happening. John, they finish 70 and or 72 and 90. Stearns is gone. So, but I don't think it'll happen during the season. Mendoza's dead man walking, and it's not fair to the guy. I mean, the whole Mets they scapegoated the freaking coaching staff, and they get all new coaches, and then now they're gonna make another which they should.
Yeah,
But then what are they gonna do with the other guys? Cora's gonna want to bring his own guys in, so then
of course.
but they have to do it. I totally agree with you. And the sooner the better. And it's a travesty because they're not going to turn it around. They keep on saying, "Oh, I've never," like Mendy saying, "I've never seen all the guys get in a slump at the same time." They don't have top
We've
players.
seen this a million times. We've seen this a million times. So you mean you've never seen it?
Well,
You
I
and
mean,
I-
everybody being bad at this, they are really bad.
They're
Since
bad.
Mendoza's been the manager, John, they haven't been even close to this bad.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
really bad.
And it's
Stearns'
you know
fault.
what?
That's not
Well,
Mendoza's fault.
But you know what? But part of it is Mendoza's fault because when you see players with no life in them, they look defeated.
Right.
You see their body language. They're behind by 1 run. You might as well say they're behind by 10 runs. Their body language is horrible.
No, I agree with you on that piece. He deserves blame too, but ultimately they don't have players, John. They don't have good players.
This is Stearns' team.
It's his fault. It's 100% his fault. Polanco, Simeon, those were two of his major moves. I get it's early, but again, how much more do you need to see of Simeon? You need to see another 100 at bats to show that he just doesn't have the pop anymore. You could just see it, right? He hits a ball the other night. I thought it was deep, and it was like middle of the outfield. I was like, he's got no pop, man. Right? You're like, oh, he nailed it, and it's like the left fielder. Anyway,
that's funny. You noticed that too because I said the same thing to myself. I figured, he got a hold of one, and it went nowhere.
As always, John, it's great talking to you about the tri-state area sports scene, Bouk and Zoobie. We're going to keep doing it, and we'll be back. Thanks, everybody, for checking out the content. Again, if you can like episodes, subscribe to the channels. We'd love it. Who do you got to thank, my friend?
As always, again, thanks to our producer, Zach Zubulake, and to our loyal listeners and viewers. We'd love to see your feedback, and some of you have sent us feedback. Thank you. And thank you to our community partners, Ronald McDonald House, Kids at Seats, and the Jackie Robinson Foundation. See you soon.